Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Rick checking in on you. It is Monday, January the 1st. It is New Year's Day. It is the beginning of 2024. There's a lot of excitement flowing around. There are a lot of ideas and thoughts, wishes, hopes, desires, new commitments, and New Year's resolutions. There's all these things going on that happens every year at this time when 96% of it never comes to fruition. And it's a shame, but it's the reality. And the thing is, in order to have something different, in order to have something new, in order to get something different, you have to do something different. You have to do something new. You have to change. Things don't change if you don't change. If you don't change your thinking, if you don't change your behavioral patterns, if you don't change your standards, nothing's going to change. And the problem with change is that behavior is habitual. 96% of behavior is habitual. It's subconsciously driven, and it is a part of a perpetual cycle of thoughts and corresponding behaviors that literally repeat themselves. And the more you engage it, the more powerful it is anchored in your mind and in your brain, because it strengthens the neural pathways that perpetuate the behavior. And if you don't understand how to change that, you will go over and over again. Your desire is to change. You know there needs to be a change, but change won't happen. There is a process that you have to go through. And I want to give you some insight. I'm going to give you three real quick, brief, powerful keys to change. But I literally is what I do is I help people change. I help people become better. I help people improve in the areas of a life in which they struggle. Or in some instances, I help them improve in areas of life where they thrive, but they know they can be doing better. Whatever the situation, it is a systemic practice of doing certain things. And I'm going to share that with you briefly. But what I want to point you to before I get started on this is the description box. I have significantly reduced the number of people I work with on a one-on-one basis over the course of the year, focusing on other methods of teaching, engaging, and helping people through information, through workshops, symposiums, and retreats, and a bunch of other things where I can help more people, but still one-on-one. There's no substitute for it. It's just the problem is only so much time in a year. So it's only so many people I can help, but I still love it. It's my passion. In the description right now is an opportunity to work with me for a year at a fraction of the cost. To work with me for a year annual is normally anywhere from $13,995 to $15,000. However, matter of fact, I'll put the link in the chat for you guys to go check out what it's like to work with me, what I do, what I don't do. That page that I just shared the link on will give you all of that. But what I am doing today is I am offering, and it only lasts a day. At midnight, it's gone. I'm offering you an opportunity to work with me for a year at a fraction of that for the cost of a bronze package, which is 90 days, 12 weeks. You can work with me now. It is $3,500. And if you've got to grapple with that, this probably isn't for you, but I'm talking about people who really want to experience change, people who are tired of saying, this is my year, only to repeat the repetitive cycle of the year before, the year before, the year before. There has to be something that changes, and that change requires a certain step. And there is a process in that, and I want to help you get there. And so much else goes into it, but you can check that out. But if you want to work with me, here's the opportunity for the remainder of the day. Anyone who signs up for the bronze package will get a free upgrade to the platinum package. So for $3,500, you will get I think the based platinum package is $13,995, and it can go up to 15,000. And I tell you, for those people who have actually done it and read up, obviously it works. So, and normally they show up on here because they like getting in on stuff that I do. So if one of you guys show up, you can talk about it or share whatever. Here we go. So I'm going to give you 3 steps that you need to be aware of. Now, obviously, the help that I can give you will increase and enhance the effectiveness and efficiency at which you do this. But you need to be aware of this, because if you don't do these things, nothing's going to happen. The first thing is start your day in a point of reflection and gratitude. We heard this all of our lives. How you start your day is how your day going to go. Let me tell you, this has been scientifically proven now. This is no longer just somebody saying, hey, man, when I do this, it feels like this. This is literally scientifically proven, because you're starting your day, you're setting your state. And when you set your state, you're literally determining how you're going to engage the circumstances of life. See, most people are determining their happiness, their sense of fulfillment, their sense of gratitude and thankfulness, and everything based on what circumstances. So they're looking to something external to provide an internal feeling and emotion and anchor, instead of the other way around. And so, but when you wake up in the morning, you can establish gratitude. You can use reflection. You can think on the things that you want. You can reflect on the victories and the advancements. You can do so many things, but you set your state, because that state is going to be the lens through which you engage and view every situation. You're not going to avoid challenges. You're not going to avoid setbacks. You're not going to avoid bad news. You're not going to avoid all of the things that happen to everybody in life, no matter who they are, where they come from, where they're going. You're going to meet challenges. The vicissitudes of life are going to roll into your paradise. There's nothing you can do to stop that. But what you can do is being the right mindset to engage it. A mindset that says, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm prepared, I'm blessed, I'm built for this. And in essence, that's my morning ritual, is to wake up and remind myself of who I am and what I'm capable of. Remind myself of my gifting, my purpose, my passion, my direction, and my path. And what it does is it settles me. It reminds me that, yeah, you're probably going to run into some things that are unfavorable over the course of the day, but you're built for this. You're probably going to have some difficult moments, but you are prepared for this. You are in alignment with your purpose. You are in alignment with your design. God built you for this moment. God is with you as you travel through it. Nothing can destroy you. Nothing can stop you. And that thing prepares me. So then when I meet the challenge, I'm not shaken by it. One of the things in one of my journals, when I close my journal out, I close it with, I'm unshakable, I'm unbreakable, I'm unstoppable. Today I win. And that's just one of the things that I go through before I ever touch my phone in the morning, before I ever open myself to any stimuli that I don't control. I'm already establishing who I am in this world. And it's not dependable, or it's not dependent or contingent upon what is happening on the outside of what I am doing. So in other words, my happiness is not in correspondence to what's going on in my life. Because I'm telling you, I've had a whole lot of stuff go on in the last couple of years that would shake the average person, that will break the average person down. And people have asked me, how are you doing it? It's because I know who I am in this world. I trust. My faith isn't some abstract idea. It's the powerful, unbreakable force that pushes me through the things that I'm going to have to deal with in this world. See, faith isn't an idea or just simply something you believe in. Faith is a force that anchors you when you can't see it, when you can't sense it, but you still expect it, you still know it's there, and you anchor yourself in that in the morning. So the first thing I do is I wake up, and the first thing out of my mouth is thank you. The second thing out of my mouth is I am immensely grateful for this moment. Why? This moment represents potential. This moment is still being lived. I can make choices and decisions in this moment. Matter of fact, I can make choices and decisions in this moment that can overcome poor choices and decisions in the past. In other words, I don't have to mortgage my future in order to pay for my past. I simply have to become a better version of myself, make better choices, and I continue to grow and rise. I don't place the demand of perfection on myself. I search for excellence. But in searching for excellence, I hold a standard of being better every day. I'm trying to get you to understand that there's a path to this thing that you want this year. And just saying it and wishing for it won't deliver it, but you have within you the very thing you need to make it happen. The next thing is you need to consciously manage your thought patterns. Man, I wish I could spend a whole hour on this right here. Consciously managing your thought patterns over and over again throughout history, in ancient literature, including the Bible. You're told to guard your hearts and minds. When we talk about hearts and minds, we're talking about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. We talk about the heart, we're talking about the seat of the soul, the thing that governs 95 to 96% of your behavior. We now refer to it more often in scientific methods as your subconscious, but it is the very thing that flourishes. You, over the course of the day, will you will have experienced over 70,000 thoughts in your subconscious. Your conscious mind will not be aware of what 96% of it, but it's still governing your behavior. You're doing most of your life, you're living most of your life on autopilot. Well, what you engage habitually in your thinking, you will experience habitually in your life. Your thoughts are creating your experiences. As a man thinketh, so is he. Your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny. You are literally living out your previous thoughts. So then what do? You have to be aware of your thinking. You have to be consciously aware of your thought patterns. What are you thinking? Because here's the problem. Every thought uh, creates and strengthens neural pathways in the mind, things that hold memories and guide behavior. So this neural pathway is going to determine how much time, energy, and effort you give it. If all you focus on is negative thinking, not only are you strengthening the negative idea and the emotions attached to it, which means 9 times out of 10 you are triggering your body to release negative chemical. You're going to have a chemical reaction to every thought. You're going to have an energy reaction to every thought. And when you're engaging constantly in negative thinking, you are literally triggering your body to what? Release cortisol, adrenaline, because negative thinking ends up being worry, strife, anger, stress. All of those things are in the stress response, and it will trigger the release of cortisol, which in short bursts will help you fight off, run away from danger. But in long bursts of perpetual thought processes and perpetual states, it drains you of physical energy. It drains you of emotional energy. It starts to attack your organs. It attacks your immune system, and it breaks you down. There's literally 100% scientific truth in the statement, worried to death. You literally kill yourself by constantly engaging negative thoughts. Crazy thing is, we have learned in studying that at least 40% of what you're worried about happening never even happens. Another 30% happens, but it's nowhere near as devastating as you thought it would be. You overcome it, you win, you get better by it. And so it breaks down to roughly about 8% of what you're worried about is really truly a threat. But literally, you're spending your time in a perpetual state of being threatened, and that chemical reaction is produced. Now, here's the flip side. If I decide I'm going to engage positive thoughts, I'm going to sit up, and even if things aren't going right, I'm going to think about what it looks like when it goes right, because things change and I have the ability to change the things in my life. So what does a positive thing look like? What do I want it to look like? And I engage those thoughts. I speak those words, because out of the abundance of what? The heart, the mouth speaks. And my self-talk becomes a program that my brain runs. I'm literally reinforcing a new idea. I'm creating a new neural pathway that will trigger chemical responses that will produce hormones and neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin and endorphins that will make me feel better, that will provide me with more energy, that will give me a sense of focus and hope. And it will also put me in a state of healing. It's in the positive thoughts. It's in the creation of a better environment, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and proximal, that I trigger the ability of my body to heal itself. God designed us to be self-healing, not just because of what we eat, because of the environment that we are constantly engrossed in. When I done my study on multi-generational transmission of trauma, to study what that looks like and how it comes about, the world of epigenetics came to me. And I've been studying epigenetics now for more than 2 decades. And what I can tell you is a vast majority of the diseases and illnesses, including cancer and lupus and so many other things, are environmentally driven. More than your diet, more than proximity, more than genetic history. Your environment, when you create an environment of healing, you heal. When you are in a positive state of mind, there's a reason why you're constantly reminded in the Bible to guard your hearts and mind, govern your thoughts. Paul said to the church in Corinth, hey, look, we walk in the flesh, but we don't war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal. They are mighty in God for pulling down strongholds. How do you pull down strongholds? Strongholds are the obstacles. Strongholds are the things that keep you back. Strongholds are the negative thinking. Strongholds are the belief that poverty is your lot in life. Strongholds are the belief that you weren't meant to be loved. Strongholds are the beliefs that you've been holding as a child and in your young adulthood because of past experiences, not understanding that you can rewrite the narrative and rewrite the story. And what happens? You're casting down arguments. Then it says every high thing that exalts itself. Everything. That's the people that are telling you you can't do this. That are people are telling you you aren't smart enough for this. That's the people telling you you aren't big and strong enough for this. All of that stuff, I'm casting it down. I'm pushing it aside. You had your chance. You didn't do it. Pushing it aside. You made that poor decision. You don't get, I'm pushing it aside. And then it says what? Bringing every thought into captivity. What? I'm managing how I think. I'm not allowing my circumstances. But see, most people won't even engage the state of gratitude, which is to be the beginning of abundance. Gratitude is the gateway to abundance, the things you want to experience abundantly. And see, abundance isn't just money. Money is just one portion of it. Wealth is just one portion of it. Wealth comes in more than just money as well. When you talk about abundance, you're talking about abundance of love, abundance of health, abundance of freedom, abundance of ability and power to execute the things in your life that you're passionate about, that you feel so pushed about, that you have set aside because life told you you couldn't have it. I'm talking about when you sit up and say, I'm now going to control it. But see, most people consult their circumstances instead of consulting their faith. Did you hear what I said? Most people consult their circumstances rather than consulting their faith. In other words, they let their circumstances dictate how they're going to feel today. No, I consult my faith. I consult my desire. I consult my passion. I consult my purpose. I consult my design. God gifted me to be somewhere, to do something exceptional, to do something extraordinary. I've been prepared over the course of my life through the things that I've been through to prepare me to go through something. So I don't search the circumstances. Matter of fact, I've been saying there's something in my spirit when I have a negative circumstance, when things aren't going my way, and I don't care how long it lasts. I'm not in a sprint. I'm going to the finish line. And sometimes it takes longer to get where you're going because of some of the things you got to go through. And I talked about this with some brothers on yesterday, man. We sat down and we had a very powerful conversation about being better men and about growing and about doing the things we need to do to be better representations of God. And the one thing we all agreed upon is that this walk of elevation isn't about comfort. You're going to have to be willing to be a little uncomfortable. But there's something in my spirit that disagrees with my circumstances when my circumstances don't align with my destiny. I don't let my circumstances dictate to me how I'm supposed to feel. See, no, I know where I'm going. People are looking at me and say, man, but this is going on. That's going on. That's going on. You just lost this. You just lost that. You just went this. This didn't go through. That deal fell through. All these things that life will sit up and start trying to throw at you to try to convince you you can't win. And then you're sitting up here and you got this smile and you got this exuberance about how you're moving. And so you're focusing on where I'm at. I'm already living at where I'm going. My mind has already showed me the breakthrough. I can smile because I know this is actually getting me to where I need to go. The very definition of destiny means that the more you try to stop it, you only ensure that it happens. The thing is, most people quit before the breakthrough. You've got to be aware of your thinking. Finally, you need to reevaluate your circle of influence. One of the things that my 11th grade teacher, English teacher, who played a major role, her along with my journalism teacher, my football coaches, but definitely this lady, and she would just constantly stay on me. She was my 11th grade teacher, but she had been aware of me since the 9th grade, and she just stayed on me. Every time she saw me, she was on me. And at the time, sometimes I go like, oh my God, here she comes. And then I start to pick up, she sees something in me She doesn't have to do this. She doesn't have to go the extra mile. What is it? But something she told me one time when she saw me hanging out with one of my buddies from the hood, she said, "Hey, I don't want to see you with him anymore." I said, "That's my friend." I said, "Association brings about assimilation." What we know is that you're going to be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around in income, in value, in character, in integrity. That's just this thing. You people are we there's this interchange of energy. This very thing we were talking about, I was talking about earlier, with your thoughts. Your thoughts produce energy and chemical reactions. This energy that's produced can be measured on a Hertz scale. It's real. Whether you're angry, bitter, worried, stressed, 200 hertz, 250 hertz tops. Whether you're in a state of gratitude, 500, 550 hertz tops. If you're in a state of love, 600, 650 hertz. If you're in a state of revelation where you're actually open to receiving new ideas, new information, new hopes, you're at 750 hertz, and this is where you begin to be able to literally hear God. And one of the reasons why people's prayer lives are so ineffective is they're praying from fear, praying from worry, praying from stress. You'll get emotional, you'll get passionate, you'll go hard in the paint in your prayer closet, in your prayer room, in your prayer space, in your car to work. But if you don't understand how to get to where you need to be in order to truly get the answer, it often turns out into an exercise of futility. And then you start to get what's called learned helplessness. After a while, you just start to say, it's God's will. Obviously, it's God's will to be. No, God doesn't want anything bad for you, but there's a process of faith execution that has to transpire. There are some things that you have to be able to do in order to achieve certain things. See, anybody can operate off the status quo, the default of average. But there's nothing average about God. So there's nothing average about God's design. You are a part of God's design. So if you're functioning in a state of average or below average, it's not God's will. And don't ever receive that. Don't ever let anybody speak that on you. Are you going to go through some challenges? Yes. Are you going to reap the consequences of poor decision making? Absolutely. But you're never going to be stuck in any place that isn't a representation of God's power to deliver you. So even when you make a poor mistake, your faith will not deliver you from your consequences, but your faith will allow you to overcome them. And that's the thing that I want you to understand. But if you're in a circle of people who are negative, a circle of people who have no vision, a circle of people who have no aspirations to do better, a circle of people who are just simply happy being in the box, complaining about all the reasons why they're in the box, you will never get out of the box because there's a constant push of recycle excuses of why you can't make it. And what I want you to understand is that if you're going to make it, there has to be no 0 days, no excuses, meaning that every day you wake up and you take a step closer to where you're trying to get. And some days it's going to look like you're not making any progress. Some days it's going to look like you're being pushed back, but you've got to be persistent, whether it's in your finances, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's in your career, whether you're trying to start a business. And I'm going to tell you something, running a business is something I think everybody should be able to do because it gives you the ability to control your own destiny. But I must tell you that it is not for the weary. I mean, for the weak. It is not for the people who are not willing to get punched in the gut. It's not for the people who are sitting up and want something to show up exactly when you think it's going to show up. You got to be willing to sit up and go. You got to trust who you are. You got to put in the work. And that's with anything else. But what I'm telling you is, you've got to be willing to be around people who are going where you're going or already there. Now, it's okay to have a couple of people in your circle who aren't quite where you're at, but who have the same love, passion, and desire to get where you're trying to go. You go as you're being pulled by those who have already preceded you, you pull a few with you, but you can't be hanging out with everybody that's got excuses. Excuses love to support one another. You know, hey, man, we were born in the hood. Man, my daddy wasn't there. Man, I had a single mother. Man, and all these things start to become this cycle of reasoning of why I can't do it. And it never comes to bear that this is on me. I'm accountable for me. I'm not accountable for what I was born into, but I am accountable to God for what I become. The people I work with come to me because they know something's on the inside that they need to get out. They know that there's something better than what they've been experiencing. They know that if they could just get a look, the thing is, there are some people that have actually become embarrassed for their dream. Why? Because they've been talked down, and that's not being realistic. That's just prideful. That's just all these different things people say because they can't see theirs, because they've relinquished theirs, because they've bought into the idea that there are just certain people that just need to sit over here and be happy with what they have. But that's not true. That in the theology of understanding God's design, that's not true. Nothing good should be withheld from you. But then there's a process of moving through this thing. You don't just get to wish for it and have it. There's a process of preparation. I've said this all the time. Process always precedes promise. The problem with the people in today's culture is they want the promise without the process. They wanted to just be there because they said it's supposed to be there and because they feel it belongs to them. No, you've got to go through the process. Why? Because the process is preparatory. It prepares you for the prize. It prepares you for the promise. You need to get some people around you that see the gifting in you. Get some people around you that see the greatness in you. Get some people around you that when you light this fire, this new fire of passion will fan your flames. Get some people around you that will hold you accountable to what you say you're going to do. Get some people around you that will tell you when you're moving in the wrong direction. You need a circle of people that will pour into you. You need a circle of people that will sit up and say, hey, look, you said you were going to do this, you're not doing. Hey, you think that's the right way to go. You need those people. But even in correcting you, you can see their love for you because they'll follow it up with, hey, I know you're better than that. I know you can do this. We got this. What do you need me to do? You need those people. And if you don't have those people, you need to rethink it. Yes, family has its place. Love your family, deal with your family, but your family was what you were born into. Your circle is what you build. It's what you create because it's what's going to compel and think about it. In the Bible, it said Jesus did no great deeds within his home. Why? Because they had already pegged themselves that he was just the carpenter's son. He did no great miracles in his own. Why? Because the miracles were about the faith of the people, not the power of God, of Jesus. Go back. Every time he heals somebody, he says, according to what? Your faith, you're healed. Because of your faith, you're healed. In other words, their lack of faith, because they didn't see anything but a carpenter's son, limited the things he was able to do in their lives. That's the potency of faith. It's not so much the person that you're going to, it's what you believe. What you believe is going to set your state. So those are just three things. And again, this is a cycle of doing this. This is a perpetual thing. I tell people all the time, 30 days of doing this consistently creates new habits. It can be done in as little as 21 days. But I like to give the number 30. You do it 30 days straight, you create new habits of thought, new habits of behavior, new habits of perspective, and things start to change. But you have to be willing to change you. There's no other way around. If you don't change you, the way you think, the way you look at things, the people you hang with, the way you talk, your self-talk, the way you talk about life, your perspective about money, your perspective about relationships, your perspective about marriage, your perspective about career and business, all of that has to change for the situation to change. You can never receive the promise without going through the process. Change is a part of the process. I hope that I shared something with you that can bless you. I hope that it invigorates and empowers you. If you look inside the description box, if you want to work with me for a year, here's your chance to do it at a fraction of the original cost, as I explained in the beginning. If you look in there, you can now, until midnight tonight, you can pay for the bronze package, which is a 12-week package, which is my most popular package. But believe it or not, my platinum package is the next popular package. And normally it's people who have purchased the bronze package who ends up going to the platinum package. But right now you can actually purchase the bronze package for today only, and you will receive the full year of working with me. I have a 99 point, what, 97, something like that percent uh, success rate. All but one client has completed, successfully completed. And I think that's remarkable, but it's a combination of my commitment. It's a combination of I work with people who are committed, and it's not giving up. So if we get to a year and we're not there, we get there and it's on me. If we point now, we set new goals, that's a new adventure, but we're going to get you to the goals we set. That's the way I work. That's the way I deliver. Something my grandfather taught me, and then I'm done. He said, man, always leave the room in a better situation than you found it. Fill your space, and you fill your space by always delivering more than you promised. And on that note, I am getting ready to get out of here. I hope to get a chance to work with some of you guys. But if nothing, take this, share it with other people, empower people. But you will not get anything different than you got in 2023 if you don't change. You have to make 2024 your year. And it's a consistent, minute by minute, day by day process. On that note, as I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. Now, I challenge you to do the same thing. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your New Year's Day. Let's make it the best ever. And that has to be an intentional process. I'm out.